groovy.
You son of a bitch.
Groovy. Hi guys, I hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome back to Small Screen Stories on a new day. We're on Fridays now. I hope you guys are all well. Before we get going, if you could give us a like and subscribe if you're watching, that'd be wonderful. You can follow us everywhere on social media at Small Screen Co. And you can also follow me, if you so wish, at EJ Lauder on Twitter. And we've got so much to talk to you guys tonight about. So one of the big things we've got is Disney. We're going to be talking a bit about Disney and what's going on inside of Disney. We're going to talk a bit about the Warner Media merger with Discovery. We need to get these names right, and the potential takeover, Amazon's potential takeover of MGM Studios. I need to remember all these names. And then we've also got other stuff to talk to you about. We've got John Carter of Mars, Omar Sy news as well. So there's a lot of stuff to go over tonight. And I hope you guys are all doing really, really well. I can see that we've got some people in the chat. Harrigan saying, "Hey, James." And he wants cocaine. Cocainum. And we've got Roberta Bobby Anderson. Hello to you, Roberta, or Bobby. I'll call you. And she says, "Hi, James. Did I do it right?" I think you did. I think you commented right. So hello, welcome to the channel.
Hey, Bobby. Yep, she commented and she made her own YouTube account just to watch us.
Brilliant.
I have her in the back.
It's really, really nice of you. We've also got Reese in the chat and Jonathan. Sorry, first off, Jonathan Barr. Let's do Jonathan Barr first. Sorry, that's my fault. Saying, "Hi, everyone. Hello, Jonathan. I hope you're doing well." We also then have Reese. So, hello there. Is he going to get a hello there? Might have to.
Hello there.
I thought I'd have longer than that. We've got Kazakhs saying cocainum. Everyone wants cocainum.
Пошли, все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства? Cocaine.
It always freaks me out a bit, that clip. Just it's really quite freaky. But yes, so we've got lots and lots of stuff to go over with you guys today, and I suppose the very first place we should start off with, we've got Clint coming on on the show in a bit. And actually, if you haven't seen Clint's review of Jupiter's Legacy, and also the Bad Batch reviews that's over on this channel on Small Screen, go and watch them now because they are absolutely brilliant. And we'd love to thank Clint very much for those. And long may they continue.
Go watch them after the stream, he means.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, go and watch them. Yes.
And then we got the Bad Batch episode 4 review of Clint Baker coming up tonight, and his Army of the Dead review is coming up tonight too.
Yes, and we will be talking about Army of the Dead on this stream as well. So lots to get into. So shall we just bring Clint in? Shall we bring Clint? Does that rhyme? Bring Clint in.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
How you doing, Clint?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Been doing more reviews today and editing videos and reading and all kinds of fun stuff. But more than anything, I've been looking forward to hanging out with everybody. So here we are.
Yeah, I've been really looking forward to hanging out with you too. We're only doing these once a week now, so it's kind of weird, isn't it? It feels like it feels more special. I think that's what it was. That's what I wanted to say. And people have already noticed I've made my name James Bond, and there is a reason why I made my name James Bond, and that is because we're going to be talking about the potential Amazon's potential buyouts of MGM Studios for $9 billion. So I've heard you.
So that's is that true?
I've heard you've been doing some research into that, Clint. Is that true?
I have, man. I have been. It looks like this is going to happen, and it's a direct response to the Discovery Warner thing. You know what I mean? Like, I started paying attention and just looking at what these different streaming services have, what they're requiring to fill in the gaps, and it only makes sense when you look at what Amazon already has and what they've added to the thing. It totally makes sense.
And it makes sense because Amazon's been shopping around for a studio like this for quite a while now. So MGM has been a studio that's been up for sale for quite some time. I think Apple were interested in buying them, or at least interested in buying the James Bond franchise off them. I know that was something they were looking at. And then I can't remember how much money they said that they could sell the Bond franchise to them for, but it was a laughable amount of money.
Well,
and yeah,
this is supposed to be, I think, a $9 million deal that they're trying to hammer out. Somebody else said that they were only worth $5 billion, only $5 billion, but that apparently it's supposed to be $9 billion. But I was listening to somebody, I think it was Robert Meyer Burnett that was talking about it, and he said, God, just for James Bond and Stargate alone is worth that. You know what I mean? It's like they're really good properties, and like I have a list. It's like you got James Bond, The Hobbit, Rocky and Creed, RoboCop, Silence of the Lambs, Magnificent Seven, Stargate, SG-1, Vikings. I love Vikings. Fargo, The Handmaid's Tale. Fargo, The Handmaid's Tale. I mean, then unscripted stuff. You have The Voice, Survivor, Shark Tank, Real Housewives, The Hills. It's like, I mean, it's a bunch of stuff, and you have some of these.
Bloodsport.
Say it again.
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport, yeah. You sent that to me earlier. Like, dude, just Bloodsport alone, absolutely. There's a lot of good properties, and Amazon already has some great shows. And a bunch of subscribers. But when you look at what everybody else is doing, and I'll let you talk more about what's going on. I didn't mean to rant this early in the show, but okay. Yeah. I mean, like, you can look directly at what Disney has going on and what Discovery Warner is what I'm calling them right now has going on, and you could see just direct competitors and why they would say, hey, this is good. We've got this news here. We've got this wildlife thing here, and it really makes sense.
Yeah. Bravo, Clint. Yeah, it really does make sense. So the reason why it makes sense, and James, if you can just make sure my levels are okay, because I'm spiky in my ears. Maybe it's my new headphones. I'm not pointing at my ear.
You're good.
But I'm good. All right. No, but what I was going to say is that MGM, they have all these. So The Hobbit is massive, but interestingly enough, like, didn't Amazon already have the rights to the Lord of the Rings stuff because they're doing the Lord of the Rings show? So I was a bit like, when I saw that, I was a bit like, what happened there? Were they working in tandem with MGM? Probably. I don't really know. And then there's and then there's The Handmaid's Tale, which is on Hulu, which is technically owned by Disney. And then I was like, oh, it's actually an MGM show. So it's all quite confusing. Yeah. It seems as though all of this is just going to go over to Amazon. So that means that Amazon Prime will have even more stuff. So they'll have all of MGM's back catalog. So that's literally years of content. Like,
it's like 4,000 films. It's ridiculous.
Well, they're one of the oldest Hollywood movie studios, MGM. I believe they're probably the oldest, if I'm not mistaken. And this is really for Bond. Like this, they're doing this for Bond. It's $9 billion for Bond, and $9 billion for Bond really isn't that much. They'll be able to make that up pretty quickly, really, if they do it cleverly. And first off, they're going to start with basically a clean slate, because we know that this next Bond film is Daniel Craig's last Bond movie. So they're going to get to, I suppose, have a say in the casting of the next James Bond. It's not going to be me, by the way, even though the name says it is. But they also, and that means that they can kind of start from scratch with this franchise, which is really interesting. They can even go into do spin-off series or spin-off movies with it. They can do a young James Bond series, which would be really fun. There was a video game, and I think a series, an animated series as well. So there's a lot of stuff they can do with that franchise alone. And then you also have Stargate, which could be huge. Like, that, literally, MGM's been doing nothing with that franchise.
I disagree.
You disagree?
It's all about the blood sport, baby. It's all about JTVD. That's why they're spending $9 billion. That and RoboCop 3.
Yeah, I was I'd buy that for $1. I was
that's my
Yeah, I was I was gonna say the same thing, and I was thinking about it. I was like, if you look at what they're doing with the Tom Clancy stuff, and they're making one-off movies, they're changing characters around. It's not all about Jack Ryan, you know what I mean? But even then, they have a Jack Ryan series. It's like they could put out 007 movies. They could make a 006 series. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's a spin-off, and it's different. And so a Q series, they could do anything they want with it, and it's a huge world, and it's fun to watch. Like those movies are fun, and they have plenty of money to make those movies. So so it's a gold mine.
Let's have a look at what people are saying in the comments, because I'm seeing some quite interesting comments about this. So you can say, Reese says, I trust Amazon with James Bond. I actually trust Amazon with James Bond more than MGM, because MGM have been kind of Sony Pictures were making some of the films at one point. They were distributing them at one point, and because MGM basically went bust. I mean, remember that when it looked like the Hobbit movies weren't going to happen because MGM went bust. And who else do we have? We have Leroy King in the house. He's talking about Army of the Dead, and he says, hello guys, great live. And one of the Reese 75 says, hopefully Amazon gives us a young James Bond series. That's something that a lot of people seem to want. And I think it was a video game and a TV, like an animated TV series
Starring Tom Holland.
Yeah. They would make billions and billions of dollars.
Tom Holland's just going to be young forever, isn't he? He's never going to grow old.
It would be what's that other show that's like the Kings? What is it? That's like the young
the Kingsman.
Kingsman, there it is. Yeah, it would be like that. The Kingsman people would get a migraine headache and a nosebleed and just pass out if they started doing young 007.
Leroy Kong says, I say Edward as the next James Bond. That's very kind, but that won't happen. Unfortunately. Sean Harrigan says Bond spin-offs need to happen. Yeah, they do. I think they do. I think that's a really good idea. And then Reese 75 says they could do a Bloodsport version of Creed. I like this next comment that Miguel says. Miguel Lemos says they could do a live action series of the MGM Lion. I'd definitely watch that. We're going to talk a bit about it's a tiger, but we will talk a bit about some stuff in a bit.
Are they they're going to show how he's tied down behind the board cutout of the MGM? You ever see that picture?
No.
Oh,
no.
Man. He's tied. Look it up. It's horrible.
He's like chained up. That's terrible.
And Kazakh says it might be the perfect moment for Cavill to swoop in as Bond. Now, I have it on good authority that that's not going to happen. And one of the reasons is because Cavill's just signed on to be in the Highlander reboot, and it looks like that's going to be quite a big thing.
Okay, what?
Yeah, Cavill's just signed on to be in a Highlander reboot.
Who's spearheading this?
I have to look it up. It was in the
Mario
Hollywood
Van
Reporter.
Peebles. Is it Mario Van Peebles?
Let me just check it out. Henry Cavill, Highlander. If anyone in the comments can say, because this is kind of dead air. It's like Edward Lauder look stuff on
That's
Google.
fine.
It's Chad. I can't say his last name. It's the guy that did John Wick.
Oh, okay. Face restored.
Stahelski. I can never say his name. I think he
they're
did
doing
John
a Highlander reboot with Henry Cavill.
this is live reaction to breaking news.
They're doing a Highlander reboot with Henry Cavill, and the guy from John Wick is spearheading it. Yes. Let's hope we get some Duncan MacLeod cameos in that for sure.
Yeah, I think it's very good casting, to be honest. If they're going to have Henry Cavill in the leads, that's a very good thing. I can't remember the name of the original actor that was in the original movie.
You're talking about
I'm not talking about Sean Connery. Yeah, he was kind of in that, and then Christopher Lambert. Yeah, he was in that, and then not much else.
He was in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Poor guy.
He was in
he's awesome.
Tales too.
Yeah, he was really good in Highlander. Like that was such a good movie. It's such an underrated film. They do it.
We need Adrian Paul back as Duncan MacLeod. That's what we need.
Who knows? Maybe it might happen. But Henry Cavill's doing that
now. I'm going to leave before I go on a CSI rant.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so it's Christopher Lambert, Sean Connery, and Clancy Brown were in the original film, and I think that I can't say his name. So the John Wick director is the one that is helming it, and Kerry Williamson has penned the script. So it's coming from Lionsgate. So it looks like they're planning on this. They want this to be a big franchise. So Henry Cavill's basically tied down for quite some time now, I suppose, with this film and The Witcher. And I mean, there's also rumors that he might return in a future Mission Impossible film.
Wasn't there some rumors too that he was involved in some video game thing? He tweeted out some
Yes,
photo.
yeah.
Was it Mass Effect? Was it Mass Effect? Yeah.
So he's been circling that project for quite some time. Whether we were told it was that it was basically going to happen, but I mean, who knows now? Like, who knows? Like, it seems as though he's massively into his video games, and I think he really wants to do that. I mean, it's a project that's been like kind of pitched for quite some time. The Mass Effect movie or video or TV series. Like, we'll have to wait and see. I think if it's going to be anything, it'll be a film. And
Flash, savior of the universe.
All right, you have to forgive these guys. So he was in 4 Highlander movies. There's actually, I believe, 6 Highlander movies, and there was about 4 to 5 seasons of the TV show with Adrian Paul and Christopher Lambert. I'm not going to rant here, don't worry. Christopher Lambert was in the first episode of Highlander series, and that actually takes place in half in France and half in the States, but it's actually Canada because it's co-production.
Is he gone now? He stops himself.
Did you say there were 6 movies?
I didn't know there were 6.
It was about 6, yeah.
But there can only be there can be only one.
Yeah. So there we go. That's some breaking news.
Get out!
So Henry Cavill is in the Highlander movie, and it's going to be directed by the John Wick guy that I can never pronounce his name. And Miguel Lemos says, I remember of a Highlander TV series in the 90s. I can't remember if it was good, because it had Queen as the opening of every episode. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It
is a good series. I'm still on season 4 though. I have to get more.
I'm still going through Burn Notice, man.
Oh gosh,
there's so many.
You and the Burn Notice.
Was I that enough? Where?
I just started watching the what is it, Mayor of
Easttown. Mayor of Easttown. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm probably on episode 4 now, and I didn't want to, but I had to stop so I could work on some video stuff. And I was like, I don't want to work on video stuff. I want to watch this show. Kate Winslet is fantastic. She's really impressive.
She's an executive producer on it as well. She's brilliant. She gets the accent. She's perfect.
And I've toured in those areas a lot and playing music and just meeting people. And I was really impressed just because I know her from other movies. I was like, wow, she's really, really good, really talented. Anyway, I mean, everyone knows that, but
that's a series that if you guys aren't watching anything at the moment, there's a lot of stuff to watch. But Mayor of Easttown is on HBO and it's brilliant. Another thing I've been watching is Shadow and Bone. And James and I will go into more detail on why I've been watching Shadow and Bone in a future video, which is very exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm watching it carefully here.
One thing I tried to watch was Jupiter's Legacy. I keep on wanting to say Jupiter Ascending, which is that awful film.
Jupiter's Landing, which is probably a seafood restaurant or something.
Yeah, and I just gave up on that show. Honestly, just for the hair and makeup alone, I was like, fuck this. Sorry, but I can't watch. But one thing, okay, what I want to do before we go into real reviews of things, I want to talk a little bit about an article that was posted on Small Screen that I wrote, and that was about Disney and there being trouble inside of Disney. And this is, I mean, The article, the headline is Trouble at Disney, Kevin Feige versus Bob Chapek. So Bob Chapek is the new CEO of Disney. He was the head of the Disneyland parks before. He's been at Disney for 27 years. So he's taken over from Bob Iger. And Bob Iger's still there. He's still in a kind of advisory capacity until December 31st of this year. But what we were told by our sources is that there are real real big issues between Bob Iger and Bob Chapek, and actually many of the creatives at Disney and the people that head up companies like Marvel Studios, so Kevin Feige, Pixar, and all the other all the other creative kind of production houses they have inside of Disney. The reason is because what's happening is that Bob Chapek is putting a lot of people in charge that were basically in charge of marketing. So they're finance people, really, is what they are. They come from a finance background. They've never made a movie in their in their lives, and they are now being put in charge of all these very big and successful franchises. So what's happening is it looks like, because Bob Iger was very much put the filmmakers first, put the creatives first, get all kind of red tape out of the way for creatives. One of the biggest things he did two very important things at Disney. That was one of them. So three. It was put the creators first. He also brought in Alan Horn to oversee a lot of movies that are being made. So Alan Horn is a very famous producer in Hollywood, and he's overseen so many films and been produced on many movies. He got him out of retirement, came back to Marvel, to Disney. And the other thing he did was fire Ike Perlmutter. So he got rid of Ike Perlmutter. If you don't know who Ike Perlmutter is, he used to be in charge at Marvel. He was the president before Kevin Feige at Marvel Studios. So, and then Bob Iger put Kevin Feige in charge of Marvel Studios, and now we have the MCU, which is the big powerhouse it is today. So,
Yeah.
what's going on now is that Bob Chapek is actually putting the red tape back. So he's getting finance people in positions of power again. It's happening across the board at Disney. It's happening in the UK. It's happening in the United States. They're putting all sorts of new executives in positions of power that Chapek has been putting there himself. And what we were told that it's merch and parks first, content second. That's a direct quote. And then another direct quote from the source said, the finance guys are running the show. Chapek is doing a lot of restructuring here. They go on to say that this has been noticed by the likes of Kevin Feige and the people at Pixar, and they don't like it. So what do you make of this, Clint?
It gives me a nosebleed. I'm serious. I'm like, it hurts my brain to think of this guy coming in here. You've got Kevin Feige's been leading the charge and bringing wins for 13 years, and now you have a change in leadership, and the old guy brought in Alan Horn because Alan Horn knew how to make movies, and he trusted him, and as a creative movie making guy, put him in there to oversee stuff. They got rid of Ike Perlmutter because he was it was an unnecessary layer between Feige and Bob Iger, and they got rid of that because it's red tape. The red tape causes problems. One guy that's worried about his bonus between art and the end result is going to make extra decisions that don't need to be there. It's a period. And so just to know that you have Bob Chapek now is starting to put all these people that are marketing people in place, and it's giving problems to Kevin Feige and to Pixar and all these people is super irritating to me, being from my background with Columbia Records and what I've done as far as a music creator and dealing with people like, I don't know if this is going to be a hit, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you're a bean counter. You know what I mean? Who are you? Like, what have you written? Like, I'm a marketing guy. Like, yeah, you're a marketing guy. Go market something, and that's what's going on now. Now they're putting, because he's from the parks department that's trying to figure out how to sell roller coaster rides and how to sell T-shirts at the parks. This guy now is in charge, and they're bean counters, marketing people do not worry about good content. It's like the old saying, if we build it, they will come. If you create good art and you have the money to market it, you can sell a lot of art, Yeah. And some people might not call certain dumb movies art, you might not call a Fast and Furious movie art, but to somebody that's art. They put their heart and soul into it and wrote it, and so it really irritates me. And it's something I thought about earlier when I knew you were going to talk about this. I wrote it down because I just had the thought. I was in the shower and I said, man, creatives make likable art or content is what I wrote down. Content is a very sterile.
Yeah, it is.
Somebody who's written a movie or written a song, you call it content. It's kind of almost rude, but I'm just generalizing. So creatives make likable content. Marketing people trick people into buying anything. That's what marketing people do. So people that don't care about what the movie's about or who's in it or how good it is, they're more wondering what the movie poster is going to look like. What should we call this? BVS? I don't know if I like that. It's all about how we can trick people into going into the theater, and then we'll deal with whether it was good or bad later. You know what I mean? And that's that's what you don't need. And Bob Iger was all about making quality. And I used to joke about that. I have friends that I joke with, and I go, dude, what's the problem? Just make a good song, make quality, and you're going to succeed. What's the problem? And but that's real, man. Create quality, and then people will buy it because And I heard somebody talking about it. But anyway, they just said pretty much marketing people, you could fire these guys and they'll replace them with more marketing people. But a filmmaker and a movie writer and an actor, you can't replace that with a guy with a Ivy League education, who is good with math. So anyway, go ahead, rant.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
What I will say is I think I know who you were talking about. I think that was Robert Meyer Burnett that said that about the Ivy League people coming in.
It was him. I listen to him a lot. I'm a big fan of his. He's great.
Yeah, that was an epic rant from both you and him. So well done. And Prince Zodiac says, what the merch comes from the content, as does the themes of the park rides. Idiots, can Iger change his mind? Well, unfortunately, no. Iger's going to be gone after December. He's retiring, and he's given over control to Bob Chapek. Now, the thing is that Bob Chapek's been there for 27 years, and actually, what I've been told is that everyone kind of really likes the guy. And the reason he's doing this is because this is how he runs business, and it's how he's been doing it for many, many years. And it was probably a mistake to put him in charge. And Jonathan's saying, can Feige get around Chapek? That's an interesting question. You would have thought that the president of Pixar Studios, who I'm forgetting his name now, could have gone around Chapek and said, no, you're not releasing our movies on Disney Plus. Like, we want these films to come. You wait. We want these films to come out in cinemas. And actually, I was told that that the people at Pixar were incredibly pissed off about that, about the fact that their films were released on Disney Plus and you didn't have to pay for them. You just had to go on there and watch them. Like, they're going to do the same with Luca as well. They did it with Soul. So yeah, people are not happy at Disney. There's a lot of friction going on, and it's a shame because it's been a company like Bob Iger has. The reason Disney is where they are today is because of Bob Iger. Bob Iger was the one that oversaw the acquisition of Lucasfilm, of Pixar, of anything, of Marvel, of anything that is now worth any sort of money. It's down to Bob Iger. And Bob Iger was the one with the vision to say, what we need to do now is to make sure we make the best movies and TV shows that, I mean, I know, Clint, you don't like that word, but the best content.
No, yeah.
You are completely right. The best content that we can possibly make. And they are now. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And I flashed that comment. It wasn't to get you, hey, read it. I just flashed the comment because I was
but it's an interesting question. But I would say that Kevin Feige could possibly get around Chapek. It's gonna, but this is the thing that's going on. That at the moment there's this kind of battle between the two, and it's like, why is that? Because Chapek is trying to put bean counters in charge of this franchise. Feige's actually a really good marketing guy as well. That's the thing. He's a very good combination of both. And without him, there'd be no theme park rides. There'd be no Guardians of the Galaxy rides at Disney. So they need him more than they need Chapek.
I don't have a business degree or anything, but would he have to go around them? Would he have to go to like the shareholders? I mean, or the board of directors? Like how? I mean, he's if Chapek's the top guy, it seems like that's it's not like being mad at Kathleen Kennedy and going around her to Disney. You know what I mean? It's like he's the top of the pyramid. I mean, it's I don't know how you would go around him. Man, if he really ticks him off, maybe he'll go over and start making DC films.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Reese75 says, did New Bob have anything to do with the Pirates of the Caribbean since it started as a Disneyland ride? I don't know. That's the other. He probably did. He's been there for so long, so he probably did have something to do with it. But I think both Bobs, kind of are Disney men through and through. They kind of did their whole careers at Disney. Like Bob Iger started at the bottom and worked his way up at Disney. I think Bob Chapek did the same. So maybe he was there or thereabouts with the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. But it's really worrying. That's all I have to say about it at the end of the day. It is worrying because it's basically what's happened over at Warner Brothers, and now we see what's happening with Warner Brothers.
Yes, some of these things I was thinking about it, like everyone's mad that they released all the what are the date releases of these of these films, and then releasing straight to streaming.
Sorry, Clint, you're being you. Rajneesh says you get a round of applause.
Oh, thanks. Hey, thanks, man. No, but what I was going to say, I was trying to imagine what it would be like, because over in the WB thing, everybody is like the basically the guy who's got beat up the most is Keelar.
Keelar,
yeah, and it really is interesting to me. It's like, when you're in a pandemic, and you're a business guy, and you're thinking, okay, do I not release anything forever? Do I just wait? And I have no way of knowing if it's going to get better. And my gut tells me it's going to just stay like this for a long time. And these things are rotting on the vine. I could sit around here like these other guys, or I could take a risk and try and do something. And I'm going to just, and I know all about subscriptions, and I'm going to just try and get some surefire stuff. Maybe I could turn this negative into a positive and just put them out and get more subs on the channel, and I was thinking about that, and he tried it, and now things are starting to get better. I know we're still closed down in certain areas, but like a lot of theaters are opening up. So now it's looked at as a fail. Like, dude, there's tons of money being lost in the theaters now that everything's opening back up. But if it didn't open back up and it worked, he would have been a hero. So it's just kind of like you got as a business person, pissing off all your content creators, all your directors who are mad because they're not going to make as much money. It's like it's a weird line to walk. It's like, and they rolled the dice and went for it and lost. You know what I mean? That guy lost, and he looks, and now that they got new people coming in, they got to blame it on somebody. So they're going to pick that. It's just what the media and everybody else does. So they're going to blame it on him and push him out the door with his golden parachute. But it's interesting too, even with the Pixar stuff. It's like, man, we got to we're fighting this streaming war. We've got some good stuff going on, but there's a little gap between this and this. We'll just put some Pixar stuff out there, between Mandalorian and WandaVision, and maybe get some more subscribers. So I don't know.
Call it, Sanchez, or you'll get a knuckle supper.
It's easy for us to say, what you would do. One thing I know is just don't compromise the art, and we'll have some good stuff. How you put it out, you're gonna piss off somebody, I guess.
Yeah,
but
I suppose the thing is, it's more the fact that it makes. I mean, imagine if you're at Pixar and they do that to your movie. It makes them feel lesser. It makes people at Pixar feel like they don't matter to Disney, which, like, it really made it look that way. But the thing is that lots of people watch Soul. Like Soul, as far as Disney Plus is concerned, the release of Soul was a massive success. Like it was huge on Disney Plus, and now Disney Plus is over 100 million subscribers. Like Netflix is just over 200, and Netflix has been going on for many, many more years than Disney. So it's like in that sense, that they are making strategic moves that really they make sense strategically, but then you've got to be very careful with how you treat your content creators, that your filmmakers, your TV, the people that make this content for you. I know I'm saying this word a lot, but this art for you. If you piss them off and they go away, which could happen, I mean, people will leave Pixar quite a lot, for obvious reasons, and over the years, it's a dangerous road to go down. And I think Bob Chapek is starting life at Disney very dangerously. Now, this is a transition. So transitional periods are always difficult. And this stuff, like this going on now, we won't really see the ramifications of that this year, or probably not even next year. But if it continues this way, it could get quite bad, like further down the line. Like it could potentially, now this is worst case scenario, it could end up with Kevin Feige just saying, you know what, I'm leaving. And I'm gonna go off and do my own thing. Now, I don't think he'd do that because he's a Marvel guy through and through, and he wants to work on Star Wars stuff, and that's really his bread and butter. That's what he loves. But there might come a time where he might say, "I can't work like this." Before I had all,
It's like, fuck it,
exactly. It's like fuck it.
I mean, look at what he's created, though. It's like, how could you even get in that guy's way? It's like, dude, just get out of the way. Let him succeed. That's all you need to do. It's like telling Michael Jordan how to play basketball. We got a new coach, and we're gonna, or LeBron James or anybody. It's like, hey, this is what you do. Like, dude, do you even play basketball? It's I guess a coach plays basketball. But
I always wondered about that. Like, one of the big things I wondered about was when I used to say, well, who the hell is coaching Roger Federer how to play tennis? Who is the guy that's on the court with Roger being like, yeah, I think you should hit the ball like that way or that way more. And Roger Federer's like, dude, I'm like the best tennis player in the world. What are you going to tell me that I don't know? Like, seriously, I've always wondered about that. And then what this is basically some guy that's coming in to coach a basketball team that his previous job before was an accountant. And he's like, I think the best way to win this game is if you do this, this, and this. And everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
who's
have
this
you ever
guy
played
again?
it? Yeah, exactly.
What we need to do is, if you want to have hope, Alfred, hope, you need to hope.
Faith, Alfred, faith.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Faith. That's what I almost said. You need to have, and I corrected myself, but you need to have faith in Bob Iger. The only thing that's troubling is the reports that they're starting to butt heads a little bit. But we need to hope that whatever he saw in this guy is in there, and that it's not controlled by ego. Because when even at your job, whoever's listening, your job, you get a new manager in there. Sometimes he changes things and he starts flexing just to establish dominance and prove that he's in charge. I don't care what they were doing. This is my way. And this might just be the way this guy's comfortable working, his understanding of people below him who do certain things. And let's just hope that he learns while he's doing this and says, you know what, this is irritating these people. This isn't working. I'm here to win. Also, I'm not just a macho ego guy that's, let's hope that's the case. And he's less worried about his ego, more worried about winning. Because if that's the case, then he'll see when there's troubles. He'll see he's upsetting certain people. He'll see that there's conflicts. And to save those relationships, he'll do something about it. And that's what I'm hoping.
I mean, I really hope you're right, and hopefully he is that sort of person. At the moment, it's looking a bit worrying, but it's still early days. Maybe they can. It's just maybe they can change their. He can course correct. Maybe, especially if Kevin Feige gets involved and says, "No, look, you can't do this. You got to change." Because if Kevin Feige says something, you listen to him. He's brought you millions and billions of dollars even. He's someone that you definitely listen to. Should we go into the comments, James? So if you want to bring up some comments. Miguel Lemos says, for this executives, you're only as good as your last movie. If Feige has 2 or 3 stinkers in a row, he's out.
I came in because I disagree. I disagree.
Well, if it's 2 or 3,
No.
that's quite a lot.
Define a stinker. Define a stinker. Is Ant-Man selling what, like 500 or 600 million? Is that a stinker because it didn't make $1 billion, or is $1 billion or $2 billion the what's the new litmus?
And then you have to take into account his track record too, right?
Yeah,
like he's 10 years of solid films and bringing in billions and billions of dollars for Disney.
Well, that's what bean counters don't do. That's they
but the shareholders do, and the higher ups do too. Right. I mean, look how long, like, I don't want to go back to like compare DC or whatever, but look how long Hamada's been there right now. And he came in from the small independent films. I think Feige has a lot of, as the kids say, clout, and that he can use to his advantage if he does get 2 or 3 stinkers. But a stinker would have to be like abysmal bomb abysmal bomb at the box office. Like, we're talking $750,000 budget, and it only brings in $450,000, like Justice League did in 2017, right? So,
like John Carter of Mars.
Type, that's another one. But even Stanton is still working. He went back to Pixar, and he's still making feature films.
Yeah,
you know, that was his crack at live action.
And you know what? John Carter isn't a bad movie. I'm going to say that over and over again. I think that's a fine film, not a good film.
Waterworld is fun, and Kevin Costner, he was still making his epics afterwards. So so I don't think after 2 or 3 like stinkers, that Feige would be out for sure, unless you know Bob Chapek really does have that knife and he really wants to get Feige out. So.
That's not a knife. I think he's right.
If you're cash light like Warner Brothers has been, that's when you start making irrational decisions like that. But Disney isn't cash light.
Well, not at the moment anyway. And they won't be for a couple of years. Kazakh says most likely just a power move, but the machine won't change much. It works too well. Yes. Hey, you cut your own clip, James. Bring up another comment, James. Let's see who else is in the chat saying good stuff. Raj says creativity is not universal. You can get better at it, but it's not something you can learn. The suits need to leave these filmmakers alone and do what they need to do. Preach. I think you're completely right. And hopefully it's what they're going to do.
Within reason, though, I could tell you. Within reason, because you have to put deadlines, you have to put budgets on people. Even George Lucas on the original Star Wars went over budget a little. I think like $10 million. You know,
a little
bit. And they pretty much had to tell him, hey, if you don't have this done by tomorrow, it's over. The drop in the picture. You know what I mean? It's creatives will tweak and dial and work more and change things and re-edit and forever. And if you just give them an open pocketbook and let them do it, they'll do it forever. So you do need to put time restrictions and money restrictions, but do it within reason. Bluff a little bit and say that's all you're getting, and then let them have a little more, and then that's it. You know what I mean? You got to do a little bit of just like a parent playing with their kids. You know, with the psychology. Anyway.
No, I think you're right, and I think Feige actually does that with his filmmakers. So because he's constantly bringing in quite young filmmakers from an independent background. And there's obviously, you know, they obviously have to work within a very tight kind of remit. They have a budget that they have to stick to. They have a plan. They have to kind of adhere to the Marvel formula. And Kevin Feige is very much, he's probably one of the most invested producers in Hollywood. So he's very much overseeing everything and making sure that they do stay within those lines. But then these filmmakers are still able to put their own spin on things, like, you know, look at Thor Ragnarok and look at Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. You can clearly see that the Guardians films are James Gunn movies and Thor Ragnarok is a Taika Waititi film. You know, there is that.
But to go off what you said, Clint, and you, Edward, that works that works in that mold when like Feige and company have that vision, that clear follow-through plan of where they want to take the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But if you're going to take, and they kind of applied that to, I think it was Jurassic World, when they brought in Colin Trevorrow. He had done like the independent film first, and then he went on to do Jurassic World. They used that mold too, but it doesn't apply to a lot of other studios that have the formula down pat like that, because a lot of time they end up suffocating the artistic talent. You get the execs meddling, like look what happened with Green Lantern, or there's a bunch of other names I could list off, but so you have to, if you have a clear vision, that works. But if the studios don't, then they're interfering with the artistic vision that the director or the writer or the producer, whatever, whoever's basically bringing it to the table, they're suffocating that vision, and then you're going to end up with a crappy product. So I do agree, like in a certain points when they have it fine-tuned and their vision is clear, then that works fine. Like you can do that with Taika Waititi and Thor Ragnarok, like that's brilliant. Or James Gunn, let him reign free, but he's got to play in the sandbox. Here's the rules. But it doesn't work when you're just either A, starting a franchise, B, continuing one that didn't have a clear vision. I mean, look at RoboCop 2 and 3. Look how that turned out too, right? Or so I'm gonna go so I can play that
clip. I meant to send you. Hey, RoboCop. I was actually going to send you you guys this clip that I saw. It was a podcast. Kevin Smith, his Fat Man podcast that he does. And they interviewed Malcolm Spellman, and it was. Did any of you guys watch that? It was really interesting.
No, I didn't watch that. No.
He kind of goes behind the curtain. You get to see a little bit of Oz, and he describes going in. And this guy, he cusses a lot. It seems like he's pretty laid back dude, and he's really cool. He talks all about the Falcon and Winter Soldier show and stuff. But he talks about going into Marvel. And just even describes going into the hallways and that the different rooms. He's been a showrunner. He was a showrunner on what was that movie?
I can't remember what he was a showrunner on, but he's.
I can't think. I'm just having a brain fart. But he's a cool guy, and he's a good writer. But he said it was a really crazy experience, and he talks all about it. And he's used to working with other people and stuff. And Disney had these execs that are sitting in. And normally in most movie companies, you'll have like an exec that oversees like 20 movies at one time. You know what I mean? 20, 30 movies at one time. And they just have like 1 or 2 per show or movie. And so it's like this guy is really hyper focused, and they really have the whole entire vision like way into the future. We've talked about that before, but it's like, but this guy overseas, and he was kind of worried. He's like, dude, I don't need I know how to run a writer's room. I don't need somebody up in my Kool-Aid messing this up. Great. I want to have these guys. And then after a while, he said that he realized these guys were actually cool. They could actually hang with any of the writers themselves. They were actually really good. Yes, they're execs, but they are creative also. And they would, if they had something to say, they wouldn't pitch it like in a demanding, boss kind of way. It just worked really fluid, and they worked really well together. And it was almost like he had these execs on the team, the writers team with him, and it didn't feel like he was getting intruded on by management. You know what I mean? And it's really interesting. I'll send you the link so you can watch the interview whenever you get some downtime. But it was really interesting. As somebody who always wondered, and there's so much mystery behind Disney and behind Marvel and how they work. It was pretty cool to hear.
Put that cookie down!
I think the show you were talking about that he was the showrunner of was Empire, wasn't it?
Empire, that's exactly what it was.
Empire.
Yeah, it was Empire.
And he's going to be, gone.
I was just gonna say he talks a little bit about what it was like working at Empire and then going to Marvel and what the experience is. Pretty neat. Go ahead.
Very different shows, Empire.
Yeah.
And the Winter Soldier. But he's doing Captain America 4. I think is he writing that? I don't know if he's going to be directing it, but I think he's writing Captain America 4. Malcolm Spellman. He seems like a really cool dude. I haven't watched that Kevin Smith episode on. Is it Fat Man Beyond? I think that's what he calls it now.
Yes. Yeah.
But,
I'll send you a link later. But it's cool. It's just kind of seeing behind the curtain what's going on in there, and it made me wonder if he revealed things that we're not supposed to know, because there's a lot of secrecy about. I mean, they'll cast somebody or have somebody do like an audition or something, and they'll tell them to meet him at some place. and I don't even remember who I read that about, but yeah, they showed up somewhere, and then they went to pick up, like, they're kind of like, is this the place? And somebody shows up and said, no, I'm going to take you to the real place. Get in. And they drive them somewhere else. It's like shrouded in secrecy.
It's like working for the mafia.
Yeah, they put you in the trunk and then just drive you off. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's I mean, that's what Marvel's all about. They've kind of built this like ridiculous level of secrecy, and that's why they don't want to talk to a site like Small Screen, because they don't want anything coming out, and they get very annoyed when anything does. But it's just because they want fans to have the best possible experience whilst watching these shows.
Feige wants to recreate that moment when he was in the theaters watching Empire Strikes Back, and Luke's father was revealed to him. He always says that. That's why the level of secrecy, and that's why they'll never hire Jar Jar Abrams, because
he talks too much.
The whole con debacle with Star Trek Into Darkness was.
He loves cutting himself off.
Yeah, he pulls up and he's like, "Hey, get in the trunk with Bob Chapek, and we're going to the real location."
He's got that knife.
Yeah, Feige's had it. He put Chapek in the trunk.
Oh dear, no, but I mean, ultimately, hopefully there'll be a course correction after this, because there was my article. I think there was also an article in one of the other trades about this as well. And this is something that's been talked about quite a lot now, and people will know inside of Disney what's going on, and they'll know that it needs to change. It needs to go back to the way. I mean, any transition is going to be difficult, but if Chapek does anything, he's got to realize that he can't really do it this way. It won't work this way, because the movies and the TV shows, they're not theme parks, really, even though Martin Scorsese says that they are. They aren't. They are movies. They are. It is a form of art, and you have to let the artists breathe. You have to let the filmmakers do their thing, and you can't put a bloody accountant in charge of that. You just can't. It won't work. So good luck to him, but it won't.
I'm sure somebody's put the trade magazine on his desk. If he doesn't read the trades, which would be sad if he doesn't, he at least glaze over the trades. But I'm sure Smithers, he's like, Smithers, what is this? And Smithers, Mr. Chapek, blah blah blah. Your employers aren't happy. It says on paragraph 3, and so yeah.
Should we start talking about the big movie that was released today? Oh, wait, here we go. Sorry. Bobby says, why not release the movies to theaters? Even though we've already seen them on TV, I'd go and see them. I mean, which the movies that were released, the Pixar films, probably, I think you're talking about.
Pixar films, probably, like, I don't know, the ones that didn't get released because of the pandemic.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will release the Pixar films in cinemas at some point. I think they will do that.
But like nobody I would go see in the theater again. Like, I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Just because it's been in, not again, but I would go see it in the theater, because just because it's been released in some areas that have the restrictions off doesn't mean that everyone in the world has gotten to see it. So I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you've seen, but cinemas in France reopened 2 days ago, so Wednesday, and they had the biggest crowds go to the cinemas they've had in years. So people are going to go to the cinemas in their droves when they can. So, and I think it'll go back. It'll go back pretty quickly. I keep on saying this. I think the 2020s are going to be a bit like the 1920s in that sense, where it's just going to be all go, go, go. People are going to be partying as much as they can, seeing as many movies as they can, doing as much as they can outdoors and together. I think there's going to be a lot of that.
And then there's me that'll just be sitting here editing videos 24/7.
Yeah, it's going to be us doing this. But yeah,
and people, in regards to that comment, people are, I mean, they already re-release cartoons all the time. Disney and stuff, they do that all the time. They'll just, we're gonna have 101 Dalmatians again. You know what I mean? So there's no reason they wouldn't do that. That would go great. Kids would love that.
So I think what we should do now is talk about the big movie release that came out today, and that was Army of the Dead. So you saw that a while ago, didn't you?
Yes, I saw it a week ago. I saw it opening night in the theater.
And what we're getting this flashing up. These are our Patreons that are flashing up right now. So we've got Roberta Anderson, Dan Zig, 1979, the Sax God, and Sean Harrigan. Patreons, thank you very much. And if you want to become a Patreon member, you can. You can find that. Is it patreon.com/smallscreenco? I believe is the link. James might correct me on that one, but if you can, and also if you can like and subscribe, because I think 30 people are watching now. I don't know how many likes the video's got, but there you go. There's the link on the screen right now, and James is really starting to piss me off. I'm joking. Right. Yes, I must be new to my own show. Is that what you're saying? Right. Let's talk about Army of the Dead. Did you like it?
Yeah.
I did like it.
Okay. All right. Here we go. He likes it. He likes it. He likes everything.
Here we go. Clint likes everything, but I'm biased. I don't know if I don't remember if I discussed this with you or not. I don't know if I was on the day. I think we spoke last time.
Yeah, we spoke a bit about it. Yeah.
And had I seen it last time, or no? I was going to see it the night of.
No, you were going to see it. Yeah.
Here's what happened that I didn't know was going to happen. All right, I walk in, I go sit down. Movie starts. I'm like, okay, and halfway through the movie, actually a third of the way into the movie, one of my friends that I grew up with is one of the main people in the movie, is an actor in the film. And
really?
Yes. And like, I had no idea. I mean, I know his parents and his little sister. I used to go, his mom would kiss me on the cheek. I played in a band with his older brother, and we were biology partners in high school. It's like, I've known this guy my whole life, since we're 15. So I look up and I see Raul Castillo, yeah. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Yeah. I was like, okay. And I go, well, I'm going to have no idea now if this movie's good or not. Like, I'm just going to have to watch. It completely took me out of the movie. It was still fun because zombies and guns and crazy action and dollar bills flying through the air is fun. But I was telling James, I have a similar problem when I watch aged Star Wars actors. I can't tell if they're doing a good job or not because I'm so familiar to them that it's just like I can't even tell if it's good or not. And then I'm like, can we get back to the other characters, because I can tell if they're doing a good job. I don't know, it takes me out of the movie. And so I had a great time, and I was really proud of my friend. And it was a little bit lengthy, but nothing compared to Justice League. And and so it was good, and there was some dramatic moments with Dave Bautista and his daughter and stuff that were great, and a bunch of crazy zombie stuff. Was it rocket science? No. Did they change a little bit of how zombies work and things like that? Yeah, and I thought that was kind of cool. And zombie tigers, yeah, and a zombie horse, yeah, like So anyway, that's my rant. But that's what happened. My friend's in the movie, so I have no idea if it was great or okay, because I had a great time no matter what. Go ahead.
None of my friends turned up in the movie. Finn Jones wasn't in the film, so if he'd been in the film, that probably would have done it for me. Like, that's probably why I kind of can't dislike Iron Fist, because I'm watching Finn Jones and I know him, and I'm like, oh, I can't dislike this movie, this series. Sorry, but one of the things I will say about this is actually I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to, because after having watched the first 15 minutes of the film, which were released before. I think I said this on the last stream. I was like, this doesn't look like it's for me. And then after having watched the movie, I was like, actually, I really enjoyed it. But the reasons I really enjoyed it were because I was like, I don't think this is going to reinvent the zombie genre. Like what Dawn of the Dead did, which was Zack Snyder's previous zombie film, I think it actually really did kind of reinvent the wheel as far as zombie movies are concerned. Because that's the first... Well, maybe 28 Days Later did it before, but it was one of the first films where you saw zombies actually be more than just dead people going around going, because they could actually run, and they were actually properly dangerous. This film, and I think this is one of the reasons why I liked it, just kind of made it that it pushed that boundary even further by basically making zombies White Walkers. That's what they are. Like they obviously looked at Game of Thrones.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah, so that's cool. We'll do that with our zombies, but just make them scream and like have crazy eyes and have a king, like he's a zombie king in Army of the Dead. That's what he is. He has a queen, and
this is a good question. Actually, are we going full spoilers? Because it just came out today.
No. We're not going for and the zombie king thing isn't a spoiler.
No, it's in the trailer. So
it's in the trailer. So and the zombie queen is in the trailer as well. So it's not a spoiler. But what I will, we won't go full spoilers. But what I will say is that actually, to be honest, there's not much you can spoil about this movie.
I still need to watch the last half hour. So
I'm gonna be honest.
Spoiler alert. People are going to get shot up, and there's going to be a lot of zombies.
But and yeah, the tiger was cool. It was a cool movie. But what I did, and I said this in the review, it was billed as a zombie heist film. I liked the zombie part of the film. I hated the heist bit of the movie. I thought the heist of the film was bad. Like literally, I know we're saying no spoilers, but I'll say this. There's no plan. They have no plan. Some like shady Japanese guy turns up and goes, "This is a building. There's a helicopter on the top of the building. You're going to have to get in."
It was Scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. It was Scorpion.
Scorpion tells you to go into Vegas. You're going into Vegas.
Yeah.
Period.
So, what did you guys think about like the first hour? Like, I agree with the heist, even setting up the heist and assembling the team. Like, I'm a huge Magnificent Seven fan. You know. I don't know if you've watched like the original with Yul Brynner and James Coburn.
I haven't watched the original. I've just watched the terrible remake.
Oh my god, I couldn't even make it through the remake. But like, you haven't watched. You've got to watch the original.
No, I haven't watched the original. I need to watch that.
But like, any good heist film, half the fun is getting the members together and introducing them in a unique way, in an interesting way that's fun for the audience. And they didn't really do that with Army of the Dead, and I was kind of disappointed because when you think heist film, it's like Rick Sanchez, you son of a bitch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's that kind of thing. And they didn't do that. And that was the first hour, you know? I mean, that's why they did that 15-minute opening the way they did it. It's because they're like, we'll get some zombie stuff out of the way. And then it's slow moving for the next 50 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And that's not really a spoiler either. But yeah, and the Italian Job, like Solmac is saying. So Ocean's
11,
Ocean's 12, 13. So. Like
that's the thing. You're talking about really good heist movies. There, like Ocean's 11 and The Italian Job are two of the best heist movies ever made. The remake, no, the original Italian Job and the remake of Ocean's 11. The original Ocean's 11 is terrible. I have watched that.
The Italian Job is better than the remake.
Yes. The Michael Caine version is much better. Yeah, you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
That was fun.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh dear. But yeah, I thought the heist bit of the film was very poor.
But even though I'm comparing them to really good heist films, I mean that's heist film 101 though, right? Like they just walked in, and I understand they were talking to Tig Notaro through the fence because she's green screened in and everything. But even like that was kind of cool, but it was so rushed. There was no foreshadowing of what the character was about before. Like in the original Magnificent Seven, you get a glimpse of James Coburn in a gun duel, but he's got a knife. See how fast he is. Steve McQueen and Yul Brynner meet, and they have to escort this body up to Boot Hill. You get a taste of the characters before you actually they introduce them into the movie. You know what I mean? So you get a little glimpse of the background. They didn't really do that. They did that with Dave Bautista, which I agree. Someone in the comments said it was his best role. I think his Blade Runner 2049 role was his best one. There was a little bit. It was kind of like it was a little bit too much of his acting. And again, I don't want to go into spoilers here, but there was this relationship reveal, and it was just kind of like, oh, really? That
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, there was some subtlety to it and some foreshadowing. You could tell, like just a tiny bit, but it was just it did disservice to the woman's character.
It did show. I'm sorry to interrupt you, man. It did show that
I'm going to keep going because it's my rant. I haven't got applause yet. So, but it did disservice to her character, and his reaction wasn't really well, and the timing was just off, and it's just. And then what happens next? Just like, oh, you just did that for that. Well, that's completely obvious.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Clint.
How dare you interrupt me? It did show. It did.
What?
Fucker. It did show that he's oblivious to what's going on. You didn't realize this woman, and you didn't realize why your daughter's mad at you, and you just like oblivious. He's living in his own little cocoon of depression.
I want to make lobster rolls.
Yeah, she's his own.
Tofu. That scene reminded me when we was talking about tofu. It was straight out of Forrest Gump. You know, talking about all the shrimp. But yeah, no, that was great character development for him. I agree. You know, like that really fleshed out his character. But the others suffered, or that one scene, that one character, she suffered from it. And yeah, I agree with Tudalini. The ladies in the film were excellent. They were strong, and they were just perfect. And you couldn't tell anything about the green screen of Tig being in it.
She's brilliant. She's so good in it.
And they inserted her in the film absolutely fantastic. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just imagining how different it would have been having Chris D'Elia, is that his name, in it. Like, that would have been so weird seeing him in that role.
I don't even know who that guy is. Like,
he's some 2-bit comedian that's been done for sex. Chris D'Elia, I think his name is.
D'Elia. Oh, that guy.
I hope nobody ever calls me a 2-bit YouTuber.
Right? I'm wondering like if he's gonna get wind of this and like challenge you now, Edward.
2-bit channel. Sorry,
no, but he is. He's a 2-bit comedian. He's some guy that's turned up in a couple of movies.
Comedian life is hard. I mean, the guy's a jerk and a sexist asshole, but comedian life is hard. Don't ever call a comedian 2-bit comedian. So.
I think I touched the nerve there. I'm sorry, James.
My dad's a stand-up comedian. So.
I'm sorry.
No.
Reese says, I laughed it.
1,000 comedians out of work and you're trying to be one. Well, that was a golden nugget of my childhood.
Reese says, I laughed at Easy Peasy Japanesey. I didn't. I didn't. I don't know why. I just didn't think. I thought Tig's reaction was quite funny to it, but that was about it.
Yeah.
And one of the things I said in my review, I gave it actually a quite positive review because I was like, at the end of it, I was like, I was entertained for 2 hours. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, there's no real plot. Nothing really happens in the film. Like really, there's no big twists or anything like that, or there's no real heist, even though it was said it was a heist movie. There's honestly, the most irritating character to me was the German guy. Like really? I thought he was insanely irritating, like just screaming the whole time and then being like, I can't shoot, and then somehow is like a perfect shot. Like, I'm sorry, but that's difficult. That's not easy.
But it's a zombie film. It's suspension of disbelief, especially.
Yeah,
that's why it's fun. That's why it's funny. Yeah. He's like, oh,
yeah. I don't know. I didn't really sit well with me. I don't know why, but I loved
comic relief. Like he did. Yeah, his character was like fleshed out, and it was a cartoon, but it was really good.
I liked it.
Yeah. So we disagree with you.
Well, that's fine, and everyone can disagree with me. That is absolutely fine. But what I will say is that I honestly thought that that this was one of what's his face, Dave Bautista's best roles. He's a really good actor, just in general. He's a really, really good actor, and this you can tell he's not just a meathead. He's so much more. And he has that physicality as well. And you believe that this guy can go into Las Vegas and kill a bunch of zombies pretty easily. And he does. There is a bit of slow-mo in it. And in Zack Snyder films, there always will be slow-mo, even though he claims he doesn't like slow-mo that much, which is quite weird when he said that. But I really...
Slow-mo was cool.
Yeah, but I really did like it, and I was just a bit disappointed by the heist aspect of the movie, and I like the White Walker zombies.
But you didn't think the first half was like slow at all?
It was slow. Yeah. It was because that was the heist part of the film, really, and I expected it to be a bit quicker pace, like the way Ocean's 11 is. You know, when they're And they really did that bit of the film really quickly. Like, and he was just like, you can have $2 million, you can have $500,000, you can have 20 grand. And that's like, of course they're gonna know, like, so it's getting 2 million for riding a helicopter. I was just a bit like, all right, yeah, you're a bit weird with the way you split the money up.
Yeah.
But never mind.
Well, everything seemed to move really fast. Even they built up the whole safe thing, and then that just went by like super fast too.
Yeah.
I expected more of like a longer montage about that, and maybe some inside shots of the tumblers of the safe, like they usually do, like Fight Club styles. So,
or even a cleverer way they could get past zombies rather than don't shine the light in their eyes,
which they did.
Which they did anyway. And you know, I suppose there is one twist in it that we won't talk about, but honestly, the film could have been better, probably should have been better, really. But I did enjoy it, so I was honest with it. I did like sit around for quite a while before writing the review, thinking, what did I really think of this film? And in the end, I thought it was fine, and that's what a 7 out of 10 for me is a fine movie. It's not brilliant, it's not terrible, it's fine. And Sassafras says the movie was trash.
Yeah, well, that's Sassafras for you.
I gave special honors to Samantha Wynn, who her character is a badass in that. She's the one that's got the bandana, and she just goes scorched earth on a bunch of zombies. She's super badass.
Yeah, I wanted when that scene happened, Clint. I wanted to know more about her background.
Yeah, me too.
You know, because you think she's just some street punk, and then the way that fight scene went, I'm like, maybe I said to my girlfriend,
she's bad. Like
she's got some training.
I would like to see a spin-off movie with my friend Raul Castillo and her, because they were teamed up. So I'd like to see. Like, can we get that, Zach? Can you make that happen?
Can I talk a bit about his character?
Yeah, talk about it.
They literally found him on YouTube, right?
Him?
The character, yeah.
His character,
Guzman. That was your friend's role,
Oh, okay,
right?
yeah.
They
Guzman.
found him on YouTube,
and all he was doing on YouTube was shooting zombies in the head.
Yeah.
So that's a real low bar to be part of this team. Gonna be honest.
You need somebody that's willing to do anything.
Yeah.
I thought, like, why wouldn't he be arrested? You know?
Yeah.
He's going into the quarantine, past the quarantine zone. So,
what did you think of the editing in that YouTube video, James? Did you look at it at all?
I was like, they even did the skull graphics. It was like kill shot. I'm like, wow, okay.
I thought it was quite good.
That's how Zack Snyder sees YouTube videos.
Yeah. But one thing I will say is that the film looked great. The music wasn't too off-putting. Like often with Zack Snyder films, I do find his use of music to be a bit off-putting. I thought it was fine here. The use of zombie at the end is a bit on the nose. I'm going to be honest, like the Cranberries. But I love the song. So. Again,
I fell asleep, so I still have half an hour to watch.
Okay.
I was gonna do it before I edited Clint's Army of the Dead review, but I had a call with a secret person, so that we'll announce next week with the other announcement too. What's up, Cisco? Thanks for joining.
Yeah, and there is trouble in paradise at Disney. So what I think we should do now is maybe wrap up the show. Yeah,
I wanted to say real quick.
Oh, go on, Clint. Sorry.
That I was thinking about it, and I said this is a Netflix film. Yes, it was in theaters, but it was a Netflix film. How much depth do you get in most Netflix films? Like, there's little gems here and there, but if it's an action movie on Netflix, it's just eye candy and entertainment, typically.
Do you remember Bright?
Okay, I thought
okay, I will say, again, this film is a lot better than Bright. I'm sorry for David Ayer fans, but this film is in a different league to Bright. I thought Bright was pretty bad.
I enjoyed Army of the Dead. I thought it was good. I thought the first half was a bit slow, and because I love heist films so much, they could have done the assembling the team better. But and then the next hour, I was just tired, so I did have to have a nap. But I was like, I enjoyed it. I just wanted to pick up the pace a bit more. But like you were saying, like I sent you a message earlier about how they like you said expanded the zombies things to a tribe, and there's a hierarchy to it. The alphas, I really enjoy that stuff. Especially you throw in a little bit of Mad Max or some like 300 homages with the cape and the helmet. Like that was really good. So, and there was the characters are all badass, man. Like they're all it's like the one guy with the big miter handsaw.
Yeah,
he was gonna go and he tried to take on the alpha by himself and just the whole startup.
Isn't that a bit Left 4 Dead? Is that taken straight from Left 4 Dead? I think it might be.
No,
The whole Saw thing, no?
that's
Isn't
Chainsaws.
it?
And
Is
then
it
that
Chainsaw?
would literally be from Army of Darkness. So
Okay, all right, fine,
people
fair
like-
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Clint, you definitely had a point about Netflix action films. I'm thinking about them now; they're all the same. It's like what's the Old Guard is like that as well. Extinction is kind of like that. Bright is like that.
The Helmsworth, what's that? Where he's the army dude, a military guy.
Extraction. Sorry, not
Extraction. There you go. Yeah, yeah.
Extraction.
That's another one I need to finish.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed Extraction.
It's
to be honest.
good. It's
I thought
good. And, yeah, it's good and entertaining all the way through. It's just like it's not going to win any awards, but it was fun, and
It's
that's
as
Netflix.
action movies go, I would say Extraction is one of the better ones that Netflix has done. I think it's probably the best.
John Wick.
No, because John Wick is the pinnacle. I would say John Wick, and then recently Nobody. If you haven't seen Nobody, that's bloody incredible. That film, that Nobody is so good. But I would definitely say that. I would say that Army of the Dead is in the top tier kind of Netflix action films. Like as they go, I think it's definitely better than Bright. I know people in the comments are saying Bright was better, but no, it's not. Bright is not a good movie. And then you've got Extraction. I would put Army of the Dead above the Old Guard. I didn't think the Old Guard was particularly good, but there are elements of the Old Guard that I liked, but I thought it was quite boring. I think there's scope for more as well. If you watch until the end of the film, there's a bit of a tease for a sequel, and I'm pretty sure they're going to make that as soon as possible, because this film I think is tracking very, very well. So I think it's going to do really well for Netflix.
Where would you guys rank this zombie film in your in between on your zombie list?
Oh,
because last week we did our favorite zombie.
Yeah.
So where would you put this?
And
Miguel says he thinks Zach did a great job with what he had. Look, Zach did a fantastic job. We're not knocking the directing, but it is a zombie film. But there were some things that could have been better with the heist and some of the pacing. But I mean, Zach can take a shot of someone pushing a button and make it look gorgeous, and he does it in this film. You know, he got a soft focus all around it, and he's a brilliant filmmaker. I've never knocked that at all.
His films look incredible.
Yeah,
I just think where his films suffer a bit is when, unfortunately, it's when he writes them. I think he's not like, the interesting thing is Dawn of the Dead, which I still think is one of his best films. Like, I rewatched it the other day. It's so good. That was written by James Gunn.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I really do think if sometimes Zack Snyder gets a bit too, he gets a bit too kind of auteur-y with his own movies. He tries to do a bit too much, and sometimes his plots do suffer. And I do think that his movies look incredible, but sometimes the plots of them do suffer a bit. I think the plot of Justice League was probably one of the best plotted movies he's ever done, and that was 4 hours long. So maybe he just needs 4 hours.
One of the interesting things he said in that Vanity Fair interview where he tracked his career, he said how Sucker Punch, everyone thought that he was glamorizing all the women and the stereotypes and stuff, but it was more of a commentary on it. So I think down the line, as you more dissect his films, that you understand what's misunderstood or what he was actually going for, you know, because in the current climate when it's released, sometimes it always doesn't hit the mark. Maybe it's a bit too far ahead, right?
Yeah.
So got Danzig's in the house. Danzig, you know what? You can request your clip because we're just gonna wrap up in a little bit. Request your clip, I'll put it up. And Fatal J's in the house. Haven't seen him in a bit.
Yeah, hello, Fatal. So I just like calling him Fatal.
There it is. What's up, Fatal J?
I just saw something the other day that the Warner Brothers denied Zack Snyder another 300 that he had written.
Yes.
That he pitched. Is it? Yeah.
That was true. He pitched a third 300 movie, and they turned him down. They turned him down for everything. They're just like, Zach, no. Sorry, whatever you have, no.
Can I go to the restroom? No.
No.
Just sit there.
It's like we should do a sketch like the Warner Brothers executives. Zach comes into the room, they're just like, "Fuck off, Zach." He's just like, "Okay," and he just like leaves like the China-based Atom movie, like the pitch on the table, and they're like, "Fuck this shit," and then everyone's like, "Actually, you should have done this." It's like, oh man, and Army of Darkness. Sorry, not Army of Darkness. Army of the Dead was something he originally pitched to Warner Brothers
years ago, and
he pitched it in 2007 to Warner Brothers, and they turned it down. And even that, I'm pretty sure if this had come out in cinemas, this would have been a big hit. Like, I really do think it would have been a big hit. Like, it might not have had, it hasn't had the best reviews in the world, but it's doing really well for Netflix, like really well. And fucking Warner Brothers.
There you go. How likely do you think that Zaslav? Sorry, Clint, you go first.
I was just gonna say, years ago, it would absolutely, like, the zombie craze has kind of died down until now. But it's like if you'd have done that a handful of years ago, it would have been huge.
Yeah, I think
that was
so.
all.
Yeah.
Zaslav, what now?
So how you say his name? Zaslav.
Zaslav. There you go, Clint. My bad.
Raj says, how likely do you think that Zaslav will bring Snyder back now that he's done with bring Snyder back now with Discovery Warner Media merger? Honestly, who knows?
Everyone's like, oh damn, we're talking about Snyder WB again. We said everything we had to say with the history of the Snyderverse video, and then they had to do this merger with AT&T.
I really think it's wishful thinking. It's going to take a long time for all of everybody to settle in their place and everything. And I think by then, it won't matter. Zach will be off doing other things. And this guy's supposed to be patching up relationships. This is probably their press, their media spin to repair Warner Brothers' reputation of pissing off all the creators. Is that David Zaslav is a creator friendly, and he's going to fix everything with all of the creators. This isn't. I'm pretty sure this is a manufactured thing. It doesn't mean it's not true, but the reason you're hearing about it is because they want to fix the reputation of Warner Brothers. So whether he's going to play golf with Zack Snyder or not, that remains to be seen. But a lot of these people are like, screw it. There's a bunch of other movie people in town. We don't need to mess with that. And pretty much everything I see with Zack.
But you think that story is being fed by the Discovery people, right? Like if it is, it's being fed by the Discovery people to help the WB, not WB themselves doing it.
Yeah.
No, WB is not a thing anymore. It's owned by Discovery.
Well, that's what I mean. But the people of the old regime, they're just either, if they are doing it, they're just like latching onto that bandwagon of, oh yeah, this is a good idea.
Exactly. I bought this company, and now I need to make this company that has a crappy reputation look good. How do I do this? Well, first thing I want to do is let everybody know that I'm not Bob Chapek. I'm here to have easy, good relationships with my creators. So if you're working with me, we're gonna have a good time. You can ask any of my reality TV guys. I make it easy for them. If they come up with ideas, I fund stuff. I make it easy. That's how you make your company look good. And that's what they're doing with this right now. So
yeah. The latest kind of rumor, this comes from the New York Post, I think it is, which apparently is trash. Anyway, apparently they're looking at ex-TikTok CEO Kevin Mayer to head up the streaming service. So whatever this streaming service is going to be, this new Warner Media / Discovery merger, we're going to have another bloody streaming service. So it's going to be another one.
They need to find an Alan Horn that can supervise everything and be good, good for the creators and good for everything. And this guy Kevin Mayer was at Disney before, so he actually helped launch. I think he was in charge of Disney Plus, and then he ended up leaving to go to TikTok, and then Trump got all angry with TikTok, so then he left after 3 months. So TikTok Max. That'll be TikTok Max is the new name.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, this is for Danza.
Call it, Sanchez, or you'll get a knuckle supper.
Okay. Well,
And I think we'll wrap it up there on that note. Yeah. Thank you, Clint. Where can we find you, Clint?
You can find me if you want to hit me up on Twitter. I'm the OG Clint Baker on Twitter. And if you go to youtube.com/Clint Baker channel, you can find my YouTube channel. I'm actually about to put a video up here in an hour or so on a review on Those Who Want Me Dead with Angelina Jolie. I saw that recently. I was gonna do a Dead versus Dead where I say, hey, should you watch Army of the Dead or this one? And I decided not to do that. I said,
which one should you watch?
They're both good. If you gotta go to my,
you gotta put the video out, man.
Yeah, you gotta go to my. You gotta go to my.
He said he said he's not going to put it out.
No, I'm not doing a versus. If I was going to do a versus, I would say go watch Army of the Dead for sure.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, if you got two movies with dead in it that are in the theaters, should you watch them in the theater? Should you watch them at home? Because you can do both.
No, I'm sorry, Clint. You're never going to be able to do that because you're just going to be like, I like both these films.
Both were fantastic. Well, there's a good cast in Those Who Want Me Dead, and if you want to know more about that, you need to go watch my video. What's that?
Huh?
Who Wants You Dead?
Those Who Want Me Dead.
Okay.
Army of Those Who Want Me Dead.
Who's on first? Yeah.
And where can we find you, James?
Oh, at 42cut.com and at Small Screen Co.
Woo! Yep. Brilliant.
You have to forgive me, Edward. Like, I'm seriously multitasking here, so if I ever get something wrong, then just
I just loved that reaction from Clint when I was like, which one would you choose? He goes, I like both of them. That's just like, that is such a Clint answer. It's like, I'm going to start doing these like versus videos, and then at the end of them, I'm just going to be like, they're both great. Go see them both. So what's the point?
Well, you turned into a little bit of a Jewish New Yorker there.
Yeah.
Who's that guy that has the kind of voice like that? You know, well, he's quite famous. He does those. What's his name?
Are you talking about Gilbert Gottfried?
Gilbert Gottfried. Yeah, he goes like talks like that.
Bungee jumping. Yeah, like Gilbert Gottfried doing Smashing Pumpkins as. Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I was thinking more Rodney Dangerfield.
Hey, I get no respect.
Anyways,
Al Pacino is more hooah. That's Al Pacino. There you go.
While I'm giving my buddy Raul Castillo a plug, who was in that movie. The next day, I went to go see Wrath of Man, a Guy Ritchie film with Jason Statham, and he's in that film too. So I'm stoked that my buddies in 2 weeks came out in 2 huge movies. So
he has great hair as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Dieter liked his hair a lot.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't care what you say. Dieter was a great character.
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was cool.
Yeah. Team Dieter.
And where can we find you, Edward?
Nowhere. You can find me at EJ Lauder and at Small Screen Co. Actually, I think I'm banned now from Small Screen Co. So you can't find me there anymore. And
thank you to Bobby Danzig 1979, the Sax God, and Sean Harrigan. I can't roll the R's like Edward.
Hashtag restore the Dieterverse.
Let's just end the show. Let's just end the show. Smash that like button. Smash that fucking like button. You do that now.
I just need to get this comment off. All right.
All right. This is behind the scenes now.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's the best. Where are we here?
Come on, James.
Flash! Savior of the universe!